Hi, welcome back. Let's continue with the lecture from where we have left. And I already have told you that in case of public goods, basically, when we have two people or more than two people, and when one person at a certain price buys more of that public good than the other people or people, uh, multiple people in that case. Um, In that case, other people won't buy any of that public good because at the price $5 per lamp, for example, if the public good we are talking on is lamp, if Yoru can already consume 60 public good, he won't complain about it. I mean, after all, uh, he would buy those 60 lamps if the price were 4. But for him it's not necessary to buy more than 60 lamps, and he can already can consume those 60 lamps. Well, you might ask, how does Yorgo know the 60 lamps will be bought? Maybe if those lamps last, for example, 1 day or 1 month, for example, let's say. Well, first he might buy those 50 lamps and see that Channy is buying 60 lamps. But after that, when he learned that Channy is already buying those 60 lamps, he will just stop buying any lamps anymore. And we already also assume, by the way, in the macroeconomics, everyone has perfect knowledge, so we assume that Yorgo already knows that the demand of Channy, and knows that Channy is likely to buy 60 units of lamps, so he will stop. He won't buy any lamps because he knows that already Channy will buy those 60 lamps. So, in that case, and anyway, I mean, as long as those 60 lamps are bought, Yorgo won't buy. But for example, let's say, Yorgo has first bought those 50 lamps. Channy will buy 10 additional lamps. In that case, knowing that Channy will buy those 10 additional lamps, Yorgo will reduce the number of lamps he buys to 40. So Channy will buy 20 more lamps. So we can basically speculate how we will reach those equilibrium. But in the end, when Channy is buying 60 lamps, and Yorgo won't buy any more lamps because for him, I mean, when you are able to consume 60 lamps, it's not worth to pay $5 and buy an additional lamp. So basically, market demand curve in this case, assuming that the buyers are not coordinated with each other, they are self-centric, they just care for their own utility, and they are not able to speak with each other. I mean, they can observe each other, but they are not coordinated. They don't discuss their buying decisions. In that case, the market demand curve of Channy will be the demand curve of Channy will be demand curve of the whole market. I mean, the total demand curve of Channy and Yorgo together will be equal to the Channy's demand curve, because I mean, when prices, for example, 4, Channy will buy 72 units and Yorgo will buy 0 units, since Yorgo can already consume those 72 units. So this is it. Actually, this is actually the market demand curve will be market demand. The quantity demanded at each point will be equal to the highest individual quantity demanded at that price for a public good, assuming, well, the buyers are not coordinating with each other, not communicating. They are giving their decisions independently, caring just for their individual utility level. So now let's assume the price is, for example, 5. Is 5 good? Actually, let's assume the price is, for example, 9. If the price is 9, Chandni will buy 12 units and Yorgo will buy 10 units. I have specifically chosen this price, but you can apply this to any price actually, but not the numbers fit perfect in this case. That's only the reason why I have chosen 9. So Yorgo might be okay with this because he doesn't buy anything at 9, any lamp at price 9. Chandni will buy all lamps, 12 lamps. For Chandni, it is also, buying 12 lamps at $9 is better than buying nothing and spend. Well, for her, spending that money for those lamps is worth the cost. So she thinks she's better off by buying those lamps, and she cares just for herself. She don't think that she's cheated just because Yorgo is also able to consume those lamps. But can they be better off if they can get coordinated? They can. How can they be? They can just tell each other, let's share, let's keep those 12 lamps. Because they should be better off if Yorgo pays part of the price of those first 12 lamps, then he won't be better off. But buy additional lamps and let's Yorgo pay $4 for those additional lamps and $5 for those Chandni pay $5 for those additional lamps. In that case, basically, if Yorgo just pays for $4 of those $9, for him, it is basically he thinks he will be better off to pay for additional 48 lamps and get 60 lamps in total. Well, for him, the utility he gets from those additional 48 lamps is worth the money he pays if he pays just $4 for it. We know because we know as long as the amount of lamps Yorgo consumes is less than 60, for him it is worth to pay and buy more lamps if the price is $4 for units, let's say. Same is true for Chandni at $5 units price. For him, it is worth to buy additional lamps as long as the consumption of lamp is less than 60. So instead of paying $9 individually and making the decisions by basically going to the shop and by taking the price of lamp as $9, they might come together and decide how to share the cost. And basically, in that case, the cost for each of these individuals might be basically a fraction of $9. It should not be equal, by the way. They should not necessarily distribute the price equal. And by doing that, each might be better off from the compared with the initial situation where Chandni is buying all the lamps. So that shows basically when we have a public good, the typical market economy is not efficient. Well, what is the most efficient solution for this case? I'm leaving it to you. Actually, some economists have worked on it and actually found the most efficient solution, which needs coordination again. And if you are interested, just look for it and read it. And you might also talk with me and discuss it with me, or I can show you. I can also show you the resources on. It's a very famous solution actually in economics. The most efficient solution of the for the public goods is a very famous thing in economics. So you can easily find it, I believe. So if you're interested, look for it. So now let's start looking to the practice questions. How do we calculate the market demand curve of computers in Lefkoşa and Nicosia if we know the demand of individual customers in the city, assuming computers are public goods? I said computers are public goods. If computers are public goods, basically, in that case, computer bought by one person can be used by other people without reducing consumption of other people. So in that case, the quantity demanded, the highest individual quantity demanded at each price level, we should find for each price level highest individual quantity demanded and connect basically the information and get uh, the demand curve for the market. Alternatively, you might also say the demand of the individual for which the quantity demanded is higher than other individuals, other people at each price level will be also the market demand curve. That's the sufficient answer. Assume consuming an orange gives Sedat 10 units of utility. What is the maximum limit of utility Sedat can get by consuming 2 oranges according to the consumer theory? If we take just as units, I mean, since the first orange gives 10 units, the second should give at most 9 because of the diminishing marginal principle of diminishing marginal utility. But in practice, it could be, I mean, how much it should decrease is not set, so it could even be 19.99999, so that's possible. But 19 is a good enough answer, I mean, it's okay too. It cannot be 20, but it can be infinitesimal smaller than 20, but 19 is a good enough answer. In which case, it's possible to claim that the consumption model of a consumer is not optimal. If mu over p is not equal for all goods, for one good, for example, it is higher than the other good. But you might also say if the marginal utility the consumer gets per dollar spent for each different good is not equal basically. The dollars spent for some goods, last dollar spent for some goods, last dollar basically not dollar, last dollar spent for some goods or one of the goods is higher, gives the individual higher utility compared with last dollar spent for each of the other goods. In that case, consumption model is not optimal since we can basically stop spending some money for other goods and spending for the good which which has a higher marginal utility over price ratio. Give an example of a case of good with positive externality. Explain. Usually add to this type of questions. Explain your answer, where you should basically describe why you think the good has a positive externality. Well, coffee could be an example. If people like smell of coffee, I drink coffee, they might get an external happiness benefit utility. Alternatively, you might also say, for example, healthcare, because being a healthy person will also benefit other people because they might not catch illness, but also having a healthy person around might make people happy or more productive. So sometimes education is also mentioned, for example, as a good with positive externality. You can think for other cases, and as long as your explanation makes sense, I mean, even if in strict sense, I mean, it's not explained as it is not accepted as a public good. If you make a proper explanation, I might take your answer as a right answer, as long as your answer makes sense. Why should uncoordinated decisions of consumers will lead to a socially inefficient outcome in case of a public good, but socially efficient solution in case of a private good? Let me answer this question in the next part.